NeonicVoid Productions presents.
Welcome to Spookocalypse, where the screams are quiet and the silence is deafening. My name is Bunyip, and I am joined here with two masters of fright. Would you two please introduce yourselves?
Well then, I am the housekeeper.
Thank you for that marvelous introduction.
Okay.
What's good? What's pop as your voice, EO?
I was honestly going to say, let me introduce you to two mistakes, but...
That's more accurate for me.
That would have been a
myself, and then I was like, no, I'll just keep it, and then you.
That would have been that would have been a face crack for me. I was like, damn.
Please continue.
But yeah, what's good? What's poppin'? Welcome to Spookocalypse. We do all shit spooky. Before we get into today's episode about the movie we're talking about today, housekeeper taketh awayeth, pleaseth.
If you like this podcast, make sure you follow and rate us on whatever site you listen to your podcast. Share with your friends. New episodes get uploaded every Saturday. Links are down in the description for other podcasts that are part of the Neonic family. Follow us on Twitter. Our handle is at Spookocalypse. That's at SPOOKOCALYPSE. We do spooky shit. Mints are on the pillow.
What's the flavor of mint today?
It's not even a mint today. It's a cough drop, and it's a Ricola cough drop.
Jesus Christ. God damn. And you know what? That person will eat it because they were told to. Because they were... damn. One thing that is new that I will input into the whole links and subscriptions and shit. This week, the YouTube channel is up.
Yay!
So the podcast will be uploaded onto YouTube as well as your normal podcasting everywhere else stuff. For now, it'll be Spookocalypse for now, but then in a few weeks, Book Watchers and Voidonica will be added as well. And then when production starts on Tea of the Gods again and other little surprises coming up, it'll be added to the YouTube as well. So look forward to that. We're on YouTube. Oh my God, we're here.
We're finally made it.
After like a year of talking about it, I'm finally doing it. Oh my God. And now we just gotta do the Patreon.
I wonder how long that's gonna fucking
10 billion years.
I believe it.
Damn, fuck. So the link to the YouTube channel will also be in the description below if you want to subscribe. Please do, because we would love to get monetized on there. I would love to monetize these videos on YouTube as well. So please.
Just hopefully that some of the stuff that we talk about doesn't get us demonetized, you know?
I mean, you're right. Well, subscribe to YouTube anyway, and if we get lucky, Patreon will come after that. So you're taking the proper steps here. So go do all that. So today we're talking about a movie. I don't know if I would describe this as a wonderful film. It's not wonderfully full of joy and happiness by no means. The movie we're talking about today is called Speak No Evil. This movie is on Shudder currently. Let me bring up my notes real quick.
It is a Shudder original.
Yes, it's a Shudder original. This film is a foreign film. It is made over in Europe between Denmark and it says countries, Denmark and the Netherlands. So it's in 3 different languages that are spread that are throughout the film. Most of the film is in English, probably for the most part, but then you get Dutch and Danish mixed in there. So that's the main languages of the film. The budget of the film is 2.8 million euros, and it made about 371 American dollars. I love how it has 370 and then 0001. 700, sorry, 300,
70,000.
yeah, 370,001. That's wow, that $1. Whoever that $1 is, you are the MVP. So this film was released at Sundance January 22nd, 2022. And it was released in Denmark March 17th, 2022. And in the Netherlands, July 21st, 2022. And then it hit Shudder. Oh, God. I don't remember when it hit Shudder. It was on Shudder for quite a while. So I think it was like during the summer it got released on Shudder. Either that or the fall. This film was directed by Kristen Toftrup. I'm mispronouncing that name horribly because it's a Dutch name.
I'm gonna Google it.
Or sorry, the Danish name. But yeah, no, it's Dutch, Denmark. But yes,
Toftrup.
Huh?
Toftrup.
Yes, that name, that guy. You did that director. So he did that. He directed it, but he also co-wrote it with his brother, and it was produced and distributed by Nordisk Film. Of course, filming took place in Denmark, Netherlands, and Italy, and it was mostly shot in English with some scenes in Danish and Dutch. As I said before, Deutsch.
Sprechen die Deutsch.
Yeah, Deutsch. So, this film is something. Who wants to really dig into this film? Who wants to start it off?
Man, not everybody speak at once.
Yeah, no, not everyone took up at once.
Sorry, I was kind of choking weirdly.
Oh, don't choke.
I'm like, I could say something about this film. And then after we could take turns, I really want to talk about the themes. But first, how does this all play out?
You tell us how the movie went.
Okay. All right, so
You have a lot to say about it.
comparatively, okay. So it starts off. It's like a dark night, and there's a car driving on a road. It's a dirt road, and you already sound bored.
No, sorry.
Wow.
I'm just tired.
Wow. Wow, housekeeper. Wow.
It has nothing to do with you. I've literally been yawning all day because I've been farming blood points for on Dead by Daylight. So I went to bed at 3 last night.
Okay.
It's not our fault.
No, it's my fault. I totally I've made myself tired. So it has nothing to do with you. I'm not bored.
So okay, back to the plot. The intro is mainly like you see a car driving at night, and you're not really sure what's going on, and the soundtrack definitely adds this sense of something ain't right here. So within the first minute, I'm pretty drawn in because even though, because it'll play something eerie, and then I don't know how to describe this, a crescendo or just a higher note or just like
It
damn, I
changes
don't.
octaves or keys because crescendo means that it gets louder.
Oh, yeah. At this point, it does get louder, almost like oh my gosh, something's about to happen. But then like on screen, nothing happened really. It was like the road changes. It does this twice, so you're already sort of like, okay, don't freak me out like that. But to get to the rest of the plot, we have we have two people, Bjorn and Louise. They are a Danish couple, and they're on vacation in Tuscany, Italy, with their daughter Agnes. It, it almost sounds like, based on their accent, it almost sounds like they're calling her Alice.
Yeah.
I
Like
think,
the way it looks is not the way it's said.
yeah, and like a little nitpick is like some of the lines that the people say don't match up exactly with the subtitles, but you still get the message across, so
Mm-hmm.
not a big deal. And basically this movie has lots of subtitles, even if they're speaking English, sometimes there's English subtitles, so it seems redundant, but there's a reason there's subtitles.
Yeah.
And it's not just because sometimes they'll occasionally speak Danish or they'll speak Dutch. But back to the story. So they're at Tuscany. The mom and dad are just chilling out on these little beach chairs, I think.
Can I say something about the subtitles because I didn't have that issue.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so because I didn't watch it on Shutter, I think like you guys did. Because I was over at Indigo's house watching it.
Hmm.
Where'd you
So
watch it on?
YouTube, I rented it.
Oh.
Yeah, I rented it on YouTube, and like like from as far as I could tell, the subtitles matched very well with what they were saying, English, Dutch, and Danish.
Hmm.
So
It might have
maybe,
been it might have been just a Shutter issue.
yeah, it could have been like something was just mistranslated, or they put down what they thought they heard. Whoever was in charge of putting the captions on.
Hmm.
Just a side note. Okay, anyway, continue. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like it's useful to watch through different mediums. But yeah, they're by a swimming pool, and there's three beach chairs, like the kind you lay down on. And Bjorn is approached by this man who is introduced himself as Patrick. He's like, "Hey, is this seat taken?" He's like, "Oh no, go ahead." And like he has to move, it's like his daughter's stuff off of it. So like, hey, I thought she was using it. Okay, I guess she's not using it at the moment, so I guess it's fine. And there's little moments like that in the movie that you'll be needing to pay attention to.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. But Bjorn and Louise are going out to the dinner, and they meet up with Patrick and Karin. And Patrick kind of has unusual behavior. Like there's just moments where he's staring. Like he's just standing there just staring, and I'm not sure if he's staring at Bjorn or if he's just staring at anyone, but he seems to have a keen interest in Bjorn.
Yeah, he's actively staring. Like whenever Bjorn is standing on the patio of his room,
Yeah.
and he's just fucking like Patrick is just standing in that little like doorway downstairs, just staring up at his room.
It's not weird at all.
No, that's not weird. Just like something that happens literally within the
Uh,
next scene or so.
It's not important.
But they regularly have interactions with each other over the course of the vacation. And one important moment is Agnes loses her bunny. I think it's called
Mhm.
Ninus, like Ninus.
Yeah. Inus.
Ah,
Ninus.
either Inus or Ninus. It looks like it's spelled Ninus.
Hold on, Ninus.
Oh yeah,
It's
Ninus.
Ninus
Ah, Ninus.
or Ninus.
Yeah, we're not the most educated when it comes to how people pronounce things. We're trying here.
This is a language that's not in our repertoire.
Yeah.
Well, like, we don't consume media in this language.
We're over here in the good old Texas, so we're not. How many times
Yes.
in our life do we ever come across a film that's in Deutsch or Danish? Not very often.
Yeah,
So,
it's like,
Um,
or like
yes.
English or Japan
that
or Korean.
fucking movie that you took us to, that A24 movie
Which
that was
yeah,
filmed in the
that's
Netherlands too.
no, you're talking about Lamb, and that was Icelandic. Thank
Oh,
you.
Iceland. I'm sorry. Still, like, that's
They're
in a
not all.
complete.
They're not all the same.
I'm not saying that they
Housekeeper.
are. Damn, you're making me fucking sound like I'm fucking like racist. I don't remember where it was from. I remember that it was in a different fucking language, and I was weirded out the entire time I watched that whole fucking. I don't know what the hell happened in that movie.
That was Icelandic, and I'm sure. You know what? We might do an episode on that movie one day.
No, I don't want to. Anyway,
Yes. Anyway.
Yeah. So Agnes seems to misplace her stuffed bunny.
Cool. Which
And-
happens a lot.
Yes. Bjorn's pretty annoyed at it. He's just like, God damn it. And what you notice is that when Bjorn and Louise are communicating with other people, they're speaking in English, but when they're communicating like just with their own family, they're speaking Danish.
Dutch. I think they're speaking Dutch.
I mean, like, they're a Danish couple, right? So wouldn't they be speaking Danish?
Bjorn?
Yeah. Or do they like switch between Dutch and Danish? Like with that couple specifically.
Oh, they're Danish. They're the Danish couple. Yeah,
Ah.
so they're speaking Danish, and then Patrick and Karen are the Dutch couple.
Or Deutsch. Yeah.
Okay.
Sprechen die Deutsch.
Yeah, Bjorn's pretty annoyed at this and is like, okay, fine, I'll go and get the bunny. And so he goes back through various streets of Italy. There's some nice scenes, and he's asking around, like, do you know where this? Have you seen this little bunny? And they're like, no, we don't know. Okay, but he gets the bunny. He finds it. Finally, gets back to his wife and his daughter, and then I think at least Patrick's there. But they just meet up.
No, I think the couple's both there. I think Patrick and Karen are there.
Oh, okay. So they both meet up, and it's like, and I was like, oh, what were you doing? And like, yeah, I was getting my daughter's bunny back. And I was like, oh, that's really nice of you. You think, no, seriously, like, mad respect. That's heroic of you to do, to go back and get her bunny.
It's not weird at all. But okay.
Yeah, it's like, you're just kind of thinking like, well, I guess anyone would normally do that, even if they're annoyed. But thank you for the compliment.
It's like, like any normal parent would go out of their way to make sure that their child is happy, but go off, I guess.
Hop off, sis. Damn.
I'm trying to think, what did they do? Eventually, they're about like.
I think that there was like a show that they were watching. They made eye contact with the dude, and then they had dinner, and they were sitting across from each other, and that's whenever he mentions that he's like a doctor and shit.
Oh yeah, yeah. So you get some background on Patrick. It's like, I'm a doctor. This is my son Abel or Abel. He's like, he doesn't talk very much because he has a condition known as congenital aglossia.
Oh, does he really?
Whenever they first introduced him, though, like they were like, "Oh no, he's shy, so he doesn't talk to people if he's like under a lot of pressure."
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, "Oh yeah, there's no pressure at all." And I'm all like, "Okay."
That's weird. That's suspicious.
That's weird.
I think that's like it briefly before they return back to their home.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I can't remember. Are they from Holland? Holland next time.
Oh fudge. Let's see. Danish couple. Blah blah blah. I think they're from
I don't remember.
Holland.
I don't remember the finer details.
Neither
There's
do
a few
I.
details you miss, but basically the movie gives them an excuse to go traveling again
Yeah.
because they receive a postcard from Patrick and Goddard, and they're like, "Huh? Well, yeah, they were a really nice couple to me." It's like, although we only knew them briefly, it'd be kind of impolite to turn them down, and so they decide they would go, and they're like, "It's just an 8-hour drive from where we live," so they just drive out there.
I got a question. How the fuck did they get their address?
Right.
That was like my first question. Like, I would have been weirded out if this couple that I met on vacation found out where the fuck I lived.
Unless they told them, but I don't know if they told them or not.
I don't remember that either.
Well, like, there could be, like, they didn't show, like, every interaction that they had throughout the thing.
It's true.
So, like, we don't know. But, like, I'm assuming, like, that they didn't give him the address.
But I just find it weird that they got an invitation to visit them at their rural house in the Netherlands. And I'm like, that's weird.
Well, I remember, what's her name? Louise saying like, "Oh yeah, it would be nice to like move out of the city and just be with nature and everything."
Mm.
And I'm all like, because like I agree with that. I was like, oh man, yeah, to like be able to just live far away from civilization sounds amazing. Like I agreed with her wholeheartedly.
Do you still agree with her?
Yes, because I'm not going to be getting in. I'm not going to accept an invitation from fucking two randos I met on vacation.
To their rural house out in the middle of butt fuck nowhere.
Like I'm telling you this right now because this is the influence of Indigo being best friends with him for so long. Fuck their feelings. I don't give a fuck if I hurt their feelings. I met them like and I talked to them for 2 days. I don't care about them. So if they invite me, I don't care if I fucking hurt their feelings. Now, let's say like if you invite me to like someplace, there's more of a chance of me going to like a rural part of town with you, Zio, because I trust you and I've known you for over a year, even though like you still don't know, you don't really truly know a person. You only know what they want to show you anyway. But
That's
like,
true.
I trust you more than two fucking randos I met in a fucking what is it? A country that in Italy. A random fucking couple that I met in Italy? Hell no. Fuck these people. I don't give a fuck. I was like, fuck your kid too, man. Like, I'm sorry. I don't trust nobody.
And that's on put.
I'd write them back like, oh, I'm so sorry. Anyway, continue.
Like you have to make an excuse like, one trip kind of costs us a lot. We got to pay it off. So
I'm like, no, we have COVID.
We have COVID.
We caught COVID while we were in Italy. So, like, sorry, we can't go.
I mean, facts.
And and it'll stay that way. Every month that they write, hey, when are you ever going to come over? We still have COVID, man.
We have the long form of that, yo.
It's like we just keep on getting the new variants, man. I don't know what's happening.
Jesus Christ.
It's like someone keeps coughing in our face, like
it's coughing. Oh no.
I don't know what to tell you, dude.
Jesus Christ.
No, next time. Hey, do we have D&D? Nah, man, I caught COVID. Do you really, housekeeper? Do you really? Yes, bitch. I fucking said a positive. You're never gonna trust me again with that excuse.
Oh Lord.
But yeah, they all come over and like, oh, seems like a nice place. Let's go for. I think they go to explore the land a bit, and it does that music swelling again to where like something seems off, but nothing visually sets you off yet. And then the parents are talking, and then there's like it looks like an isolated playground with a slide.
Oh yeah.
And then Abo. I think they just call him Abo, so I think I'll just call him Abo. And like he's sitting at the bottom of the slide, and Agnes wants to slide down, and she's like calling her mom over.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "Hi, could you get him to move out of the way? I want to try the slide." Like, okay. And then he's like, "Hey, could you get up briefly just so Agnes can try the slide?" And he doesn't respond at all. Goes back to the couple like, "Hey, I don't mean to bother. Just like, can you get your son to move because Agnes wants to try the slide?" And then Patrick's like, "Yeah, I got it." And he like picks him up like and just jerks his arm and just yanks him out of the way. And then Agnes slides down. I was like, "Oh shoot, okay."
Wow.
Well, like he forces the kid to like apologize,
Yeah.
and like the Louise was like, no, like it's not that big of a deal, and he goes, no, he wants to apologize. Like
Yeah,
very manipulative, very. Ugh.
yeah, like clear signs of, I suppose, emotional abuse,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
or some,
Psychological abuse.
yeah, where it's like speaking on behalf of the child. And their argument is like, well, since Abel can't really speak, or rather, he's too shy to speak, we say things for him. And then the protagonist parents sometimes do the same thing with Agnes. It
Oh,
doesn't seem as
Hmm.
oh,
severe, but sometimes you're just like, well, maybe you should let her say she's sorry
we
without being like,
got
yeah.
we kind of like snuck past a certain scene before that though, where gosh, people's names, uh Bjorn.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Mark. Bjorn was outside and he was like looking around the property,
Uh-huh.
and Abel was behind him, and Abel opens his mouth and shows him like his tongue,
Well,
like
what's,
the stub of his tongue
yeah.
before uh Patrick like yells at him to come inside.
Oh, yeah, and then I think that's when they explain like the congenital aglossia condition,
Yeah, yeah.
which
Condition.
in when I heard about this, I was like, I don't know. Looking at how that's portrayed in this movie, that doesn't look like he was born without a tongue. And I Google image searched it, and I was like, yeah, the image search shows people who like literally do not have any tongues.
They weren't even hiding that something was wrong.
Yeah.
They didn't. Yeah. No. They weren't even hiding the fact that something was wrong with the situation, but the couples brushing it off or not addressing the issue at hand.
They don't want to be rude. They don't want to like ruin face. Just push it on the rug for now.
Ugh.
Oh yeah. It's
'Cause
like
that works
an
out for them in
absolutely
the
like
end.
flat palette.
Yeah,
Damn.
you just looked it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some of them like because they're missing tongues, it seems like their lower jaw's gums and teeth grow closer towards the center, so they have an
Yeah.
unusual looking underbite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But past that, let's see. Oh yeah, there's a scene like where they make dinner for the family. It's either the restaurant scene or there's a different scene where it's like, oh, here's this roast beef thing I made, and then
It's
Louise
whenever
is
they
like,
first arrive. They're like, oh yeah, he made wild boar.
yeah, and earlier during like their first vacation, Louise mentions that she's vegetarian.
Hmm.
And then he's like, "Oh yeah, it's very good, very environmentally conscious thing to do." But she also specifies like she eats fish. And then during this wild boar scene, he's like, "Come on, try this. He's like, try this. This is like the best part of the boar." And she's like, "But I'm vegetarian." And then Bjorn's just like, "Dude, just take a small bite." And she does hesitantly.
To be polite and not hurt their feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And he's was like low key, passive aggressive. Oh, but you eat fish, right? That's not vegetarian.
So that conversation was at the bar.
Yeah.
that's later. Sorry, I'm ahead myself.
That's an interesting scene.
Mm.
So what happens after they have that roast beef? Like, is that in the middle of the day and then the evening comes and they go to the bar?
So the evening comes and they're sitting there, they're talking, and they hear the little boy crying,
Oh yeah, like he's trying to
and
make
they're like,
noise.
yeah, like he's crying, and they're like, oh, he'll go to sleep in a little bit. Like he does that sometimes because like he still doesn't understand what's going on with him and blah blah blah. They like make these excuses, and they're like, shouldn't you go like check on him? And they're like, nah, he's fine. They just kind of blow it off, and
Mm.
then
Yeah,
I think it goes on to like the next day.
I think Agnes wants to go to sleep between her mom and dad because the
Yeah,
bed she's
because
given is pretty much on the floor and pretty small.
mhm
It's like I want to sleep in here where it's more comfy. And
mhm.
I think this is also the scene where, like, right before the scene cuts, there's like a hand that reaches through behind.
I didn't see that.
Oh, it's quick, but I was like, what the hell was that?
Oh.
Like, I don't know if that was someone actually reaching through or if it was just a hallucin. I don't know how to explain that scene, but it definitely is supposed to add a sense of like, no, something's definitely wrong here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Oh, but the next day, what happened?
Oh gosh, what did happen the next day?
Because I remember like there's the restaurant scene.
So
That's
I
at
think the
night.
next day is whenever the playground scene happens.
Oh,
And then Karen uh invites Bjorn and Louise to go out and eat. They're like, "Oh yeah, they serve like really great local dishes and like you'll love it. You'll love it." And so it cuts to whenever they're getting ready and they're getting Agnes ready too. And then like this random guy shows up and just to be announced as the babysitter. And um Luis goes, babysitter. And that's whenever Karen goes like, yeah, didn't I tell you this is a no kids night? I'm like, no, you conveniently left that out whenever you invited her. I was like, manipulate a bitch. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
fits with the Karen. Anyway,
Yeah.
and that's whenever they go out and they eat and everything like that.
and then there's some awkward interactions such as, so you're a vegetarian? Yes, but you don't eat meat, even though fish is a type of meat? Well, yeah, fish is a type of meat, so technically you're pescatarian. And I'm thinking like, oh no, she's not part of any Christian denominations.
And I was like, why are you mansplaining?
Yeah.
Like, why
Yeah.
are you being such a douchebag?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Like,
I know why you're being such a douchebag, but
like making her feel hypocritical, like, where it's like, oh, vegetarianism, very good for the planet. Even though of how we treat the oceans, and they're like,
he's like, I was like,
oh,
do you even know what like fish farming and like how we treat the oceans affects our climate or our environment? And I was like, get out of here, leave. And
like,
makes her very
like,
uncomfortable.
still hungry, still need to have a diet. Okay, chill. And then there's that
Mm.
dancing scene where it seems fine, and then Patrick and Karen get like a little too into each other.
Yeah. They get way too fucking into it.
There's nothing wrong with us making love while dancing. I'm like, yeah, but it almost turned into like public displays of indecent exposure.
Yeah.
Oh, and Patrick also manipulates Bjorn into paying for dinner.
Oh my god, that was at that point. I'm like, Bjorn, say something. Like either the host pays for all of it, or you split the bill. And he just covers all of it himself. It's like, fine, I'll pay for everything.
Yeah, because Bjorn was like, okay, so like how much is like our half? And Patrick goes like, nah, nah, we got it. Don't worry about it. And so then like he has him the card gets canceled, and so Bjorn's just like, okay, so I guess dinner's on us. And he's like, oh man, you're so great.
Yeah, it's pretend like a question like, wait, does this mean that I have to pay for it? He's like, thank you, that's a very kind thing to do.
I was like, damn, that's some dirty
Like
shit.
socially engineering him.
Mm-hmm.
Did that shit on purpose. That's when I knew something was really wrong. Because I was like, throughout the whole movie, obviously I was like, okay, something's wrong. And then at that moment, I was like, okay, they did that. He did that on he manipulated him to pay. Something's wrong here.
No,
Something is really
I
going
could,
on.
I don't know if it's because I've been in a little lore background job uh, for a housekeeper. I don't know if it's because I've been in an abusive relationship like that I could see the signs of what he was doing from like a mile away. I was just like, this family's giving off bad vibes, man. Like
Bad vibes.
they don't fit the vibe check.
The vibe check is going wee woo, wee woo, wee
Yeah, for
woo.
real. Like, I mean, like whenever like he like first shows up, he's like, "Hey, is this chair taken?" I was like, "Sus." And especially because like whenever you see the scene like from like afar, like you see that there's a lot of other open chairs that are unoccupied.
Yeah.
And you choose the one right next to this family minding their own fucking business.
Yeah.
I was like,
Something's not right.
Power, like he has like a little bit of a power play thing going on here.
Mm-hmm.
And him doing that and the guy being like, "Oh yeah, like go ahead." Like he literally just stuck his claws in. Like he knew right then and there this guy's going to be easy to manipulate, to gaslight.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, so they're driving home, and because Patrick drank a lot and he's driving, that's when I was definitely like, this is kind of just not give a shit. And also him playing the music really loud. And then Bjorn's like, could you turn it down just a little bit? And then it's Luis is eventually like, turn the fucking music down.
and then they turn it down for like a second before they blast it again. And I'm like, what a
Yes.
dick.
Also, like, he's swerving all over the road, like, please don't fucking hit anything. They make it home, miraculously.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And Luis is like, I smell a little smoky. I'm going to take a shower. So she takes a shower, and then someone goes to the bathroom, presumably Patrick, I guess, to do his business.
He brushes his teeth.
Brush teeth. And then at parts, like, it gets darker, like maybe he's blocking the light. The entire time, Louise just can't move or clean herself, just like, and she doesn't bother to be like, I'm in here, could you maybe come back later? She just stays there without saying anything, without moving. But she finishes up her shower, gets back into the bed with Bjorn. And she's like, I am feeling really uncomfortable. I want to leave. I don't know if this is the night where they decide to leave.
No,
Or-
that's whenever they have spicy time and Patrick watches through their little window.
Yeah, that was really fucked.
And in the middle of them, like, having their spicy time, their daughter's, like, yelling for them, and they continue. And I was like, that's kind of a negative as a parent. Just stop what you're doing, bro. Like, you're going to get cock blocked all the time.
Yeah.
Little kid, like, stop what you're doing. You could finish this another day.
Mm-hmm. But they do eventually fall asleep and then wake up not too long after. And Louise notices that Agnes isn't sleeping next to them and she's not in Abel's room. Well, then she finds her sleeping in Patrick and Karen's bed. And at least Patrick is naked.
Yeah, that was fucking like I don't know what the parents were like, oh, being polite. Nah. I would have been like, what the fuck? And I would have gone ape shit. Like, what? Hello?
Mm-hmm.
That's weird.
And Louise like brings her daughter's sleeping body back to the room. And I think at that point she's like, we need to go. Like, now. I'm not comfortable here. Just go. And at this point, this must be like really early in the morning.
It was like 3 a.m. or something.
So they pack up their things and they put it all in the car, just the usual stuff. They're driving, and then Agnes is like, "Where's Ninus? My
Oh
bunny
my
is
god.
missing."
I've been like, we'll get you another bunny.
That's what they say. They're like, "Ninus is gone. He lives with Abel now." And then she starts crying, and then Bjorn's like, "God damn it!" And he turns around to go and get the bunny. Like, okay, fine, heroic thing to do, but maybe be quick about it. He's in there for barely 2 minutes when Agnes looks under the seat. She's like, "Oh, here he is."
Yeah, because I remember watching her get into the car with the rabbit in her hands. Like I remember that specifically, and I was just all like, "No, it's in the car. I know it's in the car. I saw her go into the car with the fucking rabbit."
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that scene, like Agnes is just messing with him, like, "Oh, I need an excuse to go back and play with Abel," or she just genuinely forgot.
No, that's kids. That's kids. They'll be like, "Oh, I don't know, I lost it," and then like 2 seconds later, it's underneath the chair that they were sitting on, or like they put it down in like a separate room, or like it's sitting on top of the toilet in the bathroom. Like it's like in the stupidest places because like kids carry this stuff everywhere, and then they put it down for 1 second, and then their mind is on something else. Coming from a parent, this is coming from a parent of an 8-year-old.
I mean, I did the same thing as a kid, but I would have told them, we'll get you another bunny. It's in the car, babe. It's in the car.
No, I mean the mom even said like, "We're gonna get you a new one. We'll get you a new one." And like the girl was like, she was sad, but she was like, "Oh, okay, like I guess." And then the dad, being the softy that he is like, "Oh, okay, whatever. We'll go back."
Worst mistake of their goddamn lives.
Chiflada.
Excuse me, I had to burp. But anyway, they return. Luis has been waiting for about 2 minutes. I think after Luis finds out about the bunny, he's like, "Okay, you stay here. Let me go tell your dad that we found it." And then finds Bjorn talking with both Patrick and Karen, explaining how their living situation kind of went. And Bjorn's
Well,
having
he
like the
was
hardest time saying what he needs to
yeah,
say.
he was like, "Oh, well, like we had some great days, but oh man, this is awkward. I don't know how to say it." I would have been all like, "My wife is unhappy and wants to go home, so I'm gonna make her happy and take her home."
Yeah, Luis ends up
Exactly.
speaking up more. Like the music
Because
was loud, you were driving drunk, and when she was asleep in your bed and you were naked, that's when I had to draw the line.
And then she goes like, "The way that you talk to your kid like makes me uncomfortable. The way that you were touching each other, like in front of us, like at the restaurant, was like it was inappropriate and it made me uncomfortable. The fact that you have my daughter sleeping on the fucking floor and we have to and so we have to share the bed with her, and the bed is already small and it can barely fit us two, so now it's fitting all three of us, like." And then of course they do they guilt trip, which is another manipulative
Yes.
thing.
Like
Yeah.
Like,
Patrick
"Oh,
is like, I
you're
don't.
making me feel like I'm such a horrible host." And then they're like, "Oh yeah, and then like I'm vegetarian and you force fed me meat." And they're like, "Well, like we're so sorry that we forgot that you were vegetarian. Like you should have said something." They were victim blaming. "You should have done this. Where were you? Like your daughter was crying for you. Where were you? You weren't there." And like they were hella victim blaming and pushing the blame back on them, on all the bad things like that they were experiencing. And I was like, "Oh my god, I fucking narcissistic assholes."
Hmm.
Even like the small bed argument was like Agnes had this really small bed. It's like, "Oh, sorry, we don't have a king size bed." Just like check your privilege. Like that's the attitude Karen was
Pretty
exuding.
much. And so then, like, they fucking convinced them to stay. Again, they guilt tripped them into fucking staying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which again was a mistake.
And then, like, I think they are, like, helping with dinner or something like that.
Yeah, like the women are working in the yard. I guess it's like a garden. They're like, oh, here's how we have ingredients. They don't really interact too much. She just mentions that like she has this pair of scissors. Like, oh, they don't cut very well, which
Mm.
comes into play.
Mm.
But Bjorn and Patrick are going for a drive in a car, and then they briefly talk about music. And Bjorn has like the lamest response to, "What kind of music do you like?" And I've done this response too, and I was like, "Oh, that doesn't tell them anything." It's like, "Oh, I like all kinds of music, rock, pop, funk."
All kinds of music.
Yeah, they don't elaborate on any bands or favorite songs.
Uh,
Mhm.
Like
mm,
personally, I would just be like, "Oh, I'm actually pretty big into metal. One of my favorite bands is Blind Guardian or Nightwish," and see if they're interested, and then just go on from there.
to me, whenever someone knew, what kind of music are you into? And I'm like, pop, pop music, like,
You know.
and
But
I never go into detail. I'm just like, yeah, I like everything, like a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but like right now I'm really into pop music. Yep.
Mm.
but
And that's all I
Mm.
say. I don't tell
so
them. I
you're
don't tell
like the webcomic meme where it's like, "What kind of music are you into?" And it just shows images of people you're really interested to, like the music they perform. And you're like, "I don't have one."
mine. There's just like fucking pictures of Monster X in the background. Like 80s.
Yeah,
I don't have
B-
one.
Bjorn opens up a little bit to Patrick, just like admitting that he doesn't like being nice and polite all the time. Like, I don't like having dinner with people I don't like. And he does look at Patrick when he says this, but he's not necessarily referring to just Patrick. He's just like, I have to impress people. I'm just tired of smiling all the time. And
I remember
then
that.
Patrick's like, I think I understand. I like to let loose and be impulsive. So come with
Mm.
me to what looks like a quarry with all these rocks and this
Which comes into
metal.
play later.
Yeah, this tall vertical metal thing. I'm not sure what it is, but how the camera transitions is they both are walking towards the right of the screen, and you expect them to reach the right side of the screen. No, by the time they both end up behind this metal thing, it just cuts to their next destination, which is on top of this hill.
Yeah.
And then I was like, "Oh, that's interesting cinematography." And then Patrick's like, "Okay, watch this," and he just screams as loud as he can. He's like, "Come on, scream!" And then Bjorn screams, and then they're just both screaming like, "Yay, catharsis! Letting out your frustrations through primal yelling."
It always works. It
Mhm.
always works.
Of course.
Of course, that's not the only purpose for that scene.
Mm.
Yeah, true. It's
Mhm.
foreshadowing.
What is foreshadowing? What's that?
Mm, it's a writing thing. Back to the house.
The hell?
If you paid attention in ninth grade, you would know.
What? You know what? I don't need this buffoonery.
If you paid attention in ninth grade English class, you would know.
English classes were boring, okay? Like, I already know how to speak and write English. I don't
Yeah,
care
but it
about the
wasn't
grammar too
teaching.
much. Or reading books and being like, tell me about the symbolism of Hester Prynne. And I'm like, I don't understand this book. I'm only
But
15.
Bunyip, you
Yes.
realize that we're doing that now with movies, right?
Yeah, it's because I care about the topic. I didn't care about the Scarlet Letter back in 10th grade. I
I
care
didn't
about
read the
stuff
script.
right here now.
1984, bro. Or not at 1984. Fucking The Hot Zone. That was the
8,
book for me.
18? Oh, hot.
I fucking loved The Hot Zone.
Oh, okay.
It's about the first Ebola outbreak in the United States.
Oh.
Oh, it was so good. Great book. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Anyway,
Yeah, my rant was like, I just didn't have teachers that really instilled the joy of finding, it was like enjoyment from writing until much later. But anyway, topic for another day. They're back at home. They're preparing. I think it's either just lunch. I think
it's
based
some
on the
type
day,
of
it's lunch.
meal.
Louise accidentally cuts herself with a knife, and she's going to the sink to wash it. And then Bjorn's like, "Oh, thankfully we have a doctor in the house." And they looks at
And he goes
Patrick.
like, Patrick, can you like take a look at her hand? And he kind of looks confused, and he goes, yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
And
it's
he's like,
like,
it's a good thing we have a doctor in the house.
he's
And he
like,
goes, oh,
"What are you
what? No,
talking
I'm not a
about? I'm not a
doctor.
doctor."
I'm like, lion, of course.
And they're like, so you lied to us? He goes, oh, yeah, I get nervous when I meet new people because I feel like I need to impress them. So I told you that I was a doctor. And I was like,
Mm,
mm.
mm.
Fortunately, the cut isn't too serious, and presumably anyone with a cursory knowledge of first aid would probably be like, it's not too bad. Just keep it clean, cover it. You should be fine. Unless it's really deep and needs stitches or, a doctor's attention, you should be okay.
Mm.
And something I forgot to mention, about 25 minutes into the movie, when Patrick and Karen are talking, their subtitles are just absent. Specifically, whenever they're speaking Dutch.
So whenever they were in the car and they were talking, I could tell that they were talking about the couple because I heard
Yeah.
their names being dropped.
I think they use the subtitles as a creative choice in some parts to
Yes.
kind of disguise from the viewer. They kind of give you like the look through the eyes of the couple with these two, and you're just like they're obviously talking about them, and they know they're talking about them.
Yeah.
They just don't know exactly what. And I think it adds to the weirdness of what's going on, what's really going on,
Yeah.
and it's just it.
But it's any time Patrick and Karen are talking, any time that they're talking
yeah.
in their language, like there's no subtitles whatsoever. Like it is there's subtitles when Bjorn and Louise are talking, or of course whenever it's in English. There's subtitles. I have to watch with subtitles, period. It doesn't matter. So like it pops up, but like anytime Patrick and Karen talked, like there was nothing whatsoever. I must be like, you know what? I have Popingo on my phone.
I will find out what they're saying.
I have technology to translate for me.
Yeah, well, I mean, I use Popingo to make my signs for my concerts, so because I like to put it in their language. So
Korean.
yes, I put like I made a sign that said it is my birthday in Korean for my mom because I took her for her birthday to the concert. So I use Popingo. Not that it's 100% accurate, but it's accurate enough for passing. If Keehan was able to read it in a split second and tell me happy birthday, even though it wasn't my birthday, it's good enough. So
Let's see. Oh yeah, after the whole cut my finger thing, Agnes is like, "Oh, I did a dance with Abel, and we want to show it to you." Okay, but let's eat first. And while they're eating, every so often, Karen will just speak to Agnes in her language. Doesn't we don't see subtitles, and she's like, kind of like telling her what to do. And then Louise is like, "Don't do that. Like, don't tell my daughter what to do."
it's like that's my job. You have no right to parent my daughter.
Exactly.
And then I realized it was sort of priming her to be like, to sort of take over as a mother, to speak, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of like, oh, since you're in my house, you should probably do what I say, not what your real mama's saying.
Oh, is that foreshadowing?
Everything's foreshadowing if you're paying attention.
That is true.
But yeah, after they eat, the kids perform a dance, and it's just playing music, and then almost like every 10 seconds, Patrick just like shuts the music off and then yells at Abel for messing up. And Bjorn's like, no, it's fine. Like, they're kids. Just let them dance. And it's like, oh, the dancing's good, but Abel has no rhythm. And
Dude, like,
Abel,
ooh, he's being so mean to this kid.
yeah, and like, Abel keeps messing up, and then eventually Patrick just like takes a mug and throws it at Abel. And then for the rest of that scene, Abel's crying. And I think at this point, Bjorn turns off the radio this time, and then it's like, is there a problem?
It's like, yeah, dude, he's such the fucking kid. It's just like you shouldn't, you should. He's crying, he's hurting, and you're
Yeah.
just sitting there, and you fucking throw a mug at him whenever you should be comforting him and loving him. And they're like, oh, so you're gonna yell at us because we do things differently? And he goes, no, it's not about doing things differently. It's about doing something that's right. And I was like, thank you. Like, I was like,
at least
damn.
there's something right.
It's like, oh, you're telling me how to raise my kid when it concerns their well-being? Yes, I am.
That's on puh. That's on.
And I was like, you fucking threw him, like, and he goes, you fucking threw a mug at him for no reason. Why? Because he's not dancing the way that you want him to? He's just a kid.
And, oh yeah, we're actually getting close to the end.
Yeah.
It's that night. They're trying to sleep. Abel's making noise, as usual. Patrick goes in there to check on him. You hear more yelling and then silence.
Yeah.
And not Patrick, sorry. Bjorn gets the opportunity. I think like he hears the TV on. Like it's really loud. He's like, I can't sleep. He's surprised that like his wife and kid are able to sleep through this. But he finds the TV, turns it off, and then he hears like dripping water and turns that off. And then he sees this shed with this door that's blowing open in the wind. And it's almost like it was all set up. Just all these pieces. Because you see Patrick earlier doing his usual staring thing. But it's definitely sort of like, I want you to find out what I'm up to. Oh, it's actually a cabin. So Bjorn enters the cabin and he goes upstairs. And you notice something. This is the part where I was like, oh, that's where it's going. You see a bunch of cameras and luggage cases. And as he goes upstairs, there's just like a ceiling wall, I guess the attic. It's just lined with photos. And Patrick and Karen are in every single one of them with a different child. And they're also pictured with a different couple who has their own kid.
And then in the next picture, it's that couple's kid. And then another couple.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I like how they showed some of these pictures because, like, you'll see some of the kids, they look happy in some, and then they'll show, like, maybe the same kid or a different kid who clearly looks miserable. Like, well, I think one has, like, a forced smile, or one looks miserable, and another, like, Patrick's arm is around their shoulder, and they're clutching their own arm, like, closer to them, like they're holding something, just gripping it tightly. Like, clear body language that this is not comfortable. And this, I think this leads to Bjorn finding Abel in, it looks like a bath.
It's the pool.
Oh yeah, they have a pool. Yeah, Abel is dead. He's been drowned.
Yeah, he's a goner.
And then Bjorn's like, fuck, we gotta go. We gotta go.
We
now.
gotta go. We gotta
leave.
For the family, y'all wake the hell up. We're going right now. Get in the car. Get the luggage. If you miss your bunny again, we're definitely not coming back for it.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
We're the scene from Con Air where he's like, put the bunny back in the box. Yeah. Anyway, they go to leave. They notice that their car is like, it's on empty. their gas is really low.
Of course it is.
So they're driving away
Mm.
at night, and you notice the road looks eerily similar to the road from the very beginning of the movie. So that makes me wonder, in the very beginning, was the same thing happening to somebody else?
Dun dun dun.
But they're driving their car eventually. I think like their car just runs out of gas or it just stops working.
Well, they get gas, and then they run off the road into like this little like sand pit on the side of the road, and he can't get out. Like he's stuck.
Oh yeah, and then he's like, "I want you to stay here. I'm gonna go get help." And his idea of getting help is like he just abandons them, finds a nearby house, which I'm pretty sure they're all abandoned because you don't really see anyone else in this movie. And Patrick is just waiting in the distance. And when Bjorn is gone, Patrick approaches the car. And then Bjorn, not being able to find anybody, is walking back to to his car, and then Patrick's car is approaching. Yeah, I think it is Patrick's car, but Louise and Agnes are there with them. Oh, it's everybody. Patrick and Karen are there, and then Louise is like, "Hey, thank you for calling." And I was like, "Calling? He didn't call anybody."
Mm.
And so Bjorn is like the only one who's really terrified because he knows what's going on. And then Patrick approaches him, and then Bjorn's just like, "Please don't hurt me. We just want to go home." Like he's crying so much that he's drooling out his mouth.
Yeah.
Just really hard to watch. Like this poor man. And then Patrick's just like, "If you do what we say, it'll all be okay."
Lies and slander.
Lies.
So they get into the car and they're driving back, presumably to Patrick's house. They take a while. And the entire time I was like, "Are we there yet?" And then Patrick and Karen are just like, "Shut the fuck up. Like, shut up. Shut up. No one say anything." They eventually stop, and there's like bright headlights from another car. And it's the babysitter.
Of course he's in on it.
Like the accomplice you didn't remember. Meanwhile, I think like Bjorn tries to fight, but then Patrick just like decks him in the face. He's like, "Oh no." So Louise and Agnes are just like holding each other really tight. It's like, "Stay close, stay close, stay close." Then passenger door opens where Louise and Agnes are. And he's just like holding Louise's neck. Mainly like restraining Louise. And then, meanwhile, Karen here pulls out those dull scissors.
Mm-hmm.
And do you, if any of you have ever seen Old Boy, where he cuts his tongue off, this happens to a kid. And I was really hoping it'd be like, okay, forget politeness, just like, Bjorn, punch somebody, kick somebody, bite somebody, fight dirty. I don't care. Like, save your daughter.
Something.
And he is unable to do anything.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say, like, oh, he's just a freaking coward. I'm like, sometimes you're in a situation that's so scary that even though your head is screaming at you to take action, you can't.
It's the fight or flight response.
Yes.
Some people haven't, some people don't.
And like I know they say that it's fight or flight, but there's 3 responses. There's fight, flight, or freeze. And his body responded with freeze. There was so much emotions going on in his body that his body is not able to react properly.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. But at the same time, I'm like, you couldn't take a punch to the face?
at that point, I'd be freaking furious. I'm like, what the hell, man? And then I'd
Oh
start
hell
fighting
no!
back.
Yeah, I would have been scratching at face. Like I would like the mom. Like if I was the mom or the dad, scratching at faces, fucking finding any type of like thing I can get my hands on to use as a weapon.
I just feel like I'm
Mhm,
sick of your
Like
mhm.
shit.
rip off your fucking balls, tear out your eyes. I don't care what the fuck it is. Like
Exactly, because it's like if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna take a chunk of you with me. You know?
yeah, hell yeah. Like it's like I'm gonna make it fucking like I'm gonna make your life a living hell as I'm while I'm still alive. Like
Yeah,
especially if I knew that like they were planning to harm my family. You really think I'm gonna sit there and beg for my life? No, I'm gonna fight for it. Hell no. I was like, what?
Hmm.
So like, yeah, I get it, but at the same time, I'm like, bro, like you can't.
Put up a fight, something.
I was more upset at like that you can't handle a punch. It was like one and like it looked like it hit him like maybe on the cheek. Like it wasn't like on the temple or on the jaw or anything. It was like on the cheek. It was probably the meatiest part of the face. And he's like,
like,
and I'm like, bro, I've gotten the wind kicked out of me and I was still able to fight back. Like, hello?
at that point, I'm like, damn it, you deserve what happens to you, man. So anyway,
Oh no.
like just witnessing his events throughout all the stuff that he does in this
Damn.
movie, I'm like, there's no saving you, man. But poor Agnes has her tongue removed.
Oh god, that
Forcibly,
scene was hard to watch.
I didn't watch that scene. I looked away.
it was really hard to watch because you want something good to happen. It was like, nope. And then the babysitter takes
No.
Agnes away, and then Louis. It's one of those doors. I think it's like the passenger lock, so you can't open it from the inside. At least
Child
from
lock.
where Bjorn and Louise are sitting.
The child lock.
Ah, yes. And then it's like, okay, back in the car, drive to the quarry.
Yeah.
Was it Patrick and Karen get out of the car, open the door, they get the other two out, have them stand in front, and it's like, take off all your clothes. And they're just shivering with fear, removing their clothes.
They're dead inside
Yeah, it's
as they're
definitely in their
moving.
eyes. And then Bjorn asks, like, why are you doing this? And then comes the last line of the movie that I did not understand at first until a little bit later. And Patrick just responds with, because you let me. And he's like, all right, y'all go down to the pit.
I mean, he's right.
Yeah, technically he's right.
He is right. He let him manipulate him the entire time.
Mm. You're being, so they're going down into the quarry pit naked. And then suddenly they're just hit with rocks. It was like, oh no, they're getting stoned to death.
They could have just ran.
See, and that's whenever Indigo walked in to the house. Like he came home that
They just saw this and was like, what the
like
hell?
like he came in like right whenever like they were like take off your clothes and then they got stoned to death.
Yeah.
Not the fun kind of stoned.
No.
Yeah,
No.
that looked like it fucking hurt. Like the whelps that were
It.
being formed on
Yeah.
their bodies. And then when
Hmm.
Louise gets hit right in the head and it looks like she's pretty much broken her neck or it is
Oh.
just dead.
Yeah, that was also hard to watch. It's like, oh no.
And then it goes back. It was like, okay, they're dead. The sun is coming up. Patrick and Karen kind of hug each other. Which I'm like, do you guys deserve this? But they're on vacation again with Agnes to find another family with another child to do the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
And that ends the movie.
They were serial killers.
So I will say this before we get into analyzing shit. Um, I've never had a movie pull a reaction. Shit. Sorry. My phone fell. Pull the type of reaction that I had the way that this one did. Like, I had never literally just sat and stewed over what I just saw, and then, like, immediately, like, I started to cry. Like, and James, the Indigo was just like, wow, these people really got their world rocked, and I was like, shut up, like, just like the it's not the time. I'm like, this is not okay.
Mm-hmm.
And like it literally, like, and I talked to Indigo about it, and he goes like, yeah, the butterfly effect had, like, gave me the same reaction that you have. And he goes like, you're just going through the 5 stages of grief. And I was like, yeah, but I'm going backwards. Because I came from acceptance. Like, I was like, that happened, that actually happened, I saw it happen. And I got angry. Like, I had been angry throughout the entire movie, just watching this man get fucking stepped all over. I got angry at the fact that he let another couple's feelings take precedence over his wife's feelings. Like, that pissed me off the most out of everything. I was just like, bitch, make your wife happy. Fuck these people. Make your wife happy. Your wife wants to stay. Go home. Instead of like, no, just stay here. We're gonna hurt your feelings. Fuck their feelings. Make your wife happy. But like, I literally, like, I told him, I was like, dude, I don't know what it is, but like, I literally was like starting to cry as I was like talking to him about how I was feeling about this movie. Not once has a horror movie, made me cry like that. And I'm terrified of clowns, and I didn't fucking cry like that whenever I watched anything with clowns in it. Ever.
Yeah, I definitely felt angry and sad at this whole ordeal. Because normally,
I
It
felt
wasn't
icky.
sad. I wasn't sad. I don't know what the feeling is. Like, yes, I had anger, but there was just another. I know what it is. It's because I'm a parent. I have a child that's Agnes's age, and like, that's like a big fucking fear. Like, that pulls at my parental instincts, and how I feel about my son. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh no, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. And it just, this movie was made to make you feel uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And it did
Yes, it
exactly
was.
what it did exactly what it set out to do.
Mm. Yeah,
Like,
it most certainly did.
I'm tearing up now just thinking about it, man. I'm like, I cannot imagine my son going through that.
The only movie I could think of that gave me a similar effect, and even then it's a different effect, but like the lingering effect of it was The Strangers, but for a different reason.
Oh, I can't watch home invasion movies, dude. I can't do it.
No, I know. But The Strangers was had it lingering, and this movie did the same thing. It just, the awkwardness and just the, oh, this is getting worse for them. Oh, no. So before we get too deep into like what our personal thoughts were on this movie, Bunyip, what are the themes? Give us themes. I know you've been itching for this part.
there's that, but I was also listening to y'all talk about how we was feeling like, oh, we might be either entering a new era of film where it's like, we're not really scaring people with monsters. We're scaring them
Right.
with like their innermost anxieties,
Yeah.
such as people breaking in and then the worst case scenario, even if it's exaggerated.
But that's not exaggerated though. That shit can actually happen. Like, that shit happens in the real world all the time. Like that's what makes it so uncomfortable, is the fact that like that is a possible thing that could happen, like the home invasions, or like someone manipulating you and getting you and your family killed like that.
Yes.
Not the stupid slasher films that we watch and stuff like that. Like this scenario is something that could possibly happen in the world, and it happens. It does happen. And that's what makes it so uncomfortable for us, because there is that lingering possibility that that could happen to us. Even if you think, oh no, not me. Yes, bitch, you too. You ain't immune. That shit could happen. That's what makes it scary. That's what makes it terrifying. That's psychological horror.
Yeah, this movie was definitely a psychological horror.
I need a therapist.
I need an adult.
We're all
We are
adults,
an
and we need like
adult.
bigger,
I
more
need an
educated
adultier
adults or something.
adult. I need a good parental figure right now.
Okay,
Fuck this movie.
so themes and symbolism.
Yeah.
There's only one symbol that I'll get into later that I can think of. But theming, at first I was building up a few theories, and then after looking at other people's take on it through some online articles, because I was trying to find something, it was like, oh, I didn't think of it like that. And it was like, well, that makes a lot more sense. Because to me, it looked like a big allegory for like child abuse because of the way they treat Abel and how it
Oh.
was kind of being shown with Agnes, even though it's like not nearly as bad, but still just like, we'll answer things for you. You don't have to answer things for yourself. Keep quiet. It's almost like that phrase, like children are to be seen, not heard, and then they're taking it way too seriously. Like, no, you shouldn't be like heard at all, child.
Well, you also have to think like some cultures raise their kids differently than how like we raise our kids. So over there, like that could be a normal thing for them to do. You know what I mean? Not saying that it's excusable, but like
Yeah, that doesn't mean that it makes it right.
yeah, I'm not trying to defend them. I'm just trying to like say like kids are raised differently. Like people might think that this is child abuse, but like I was introduced to alcohol at a very very young age by my mom, and it wasn't to force alcoholism on me. It's a German thing. Kids are raised with alcohol, and it honestly taught me like alcohol is not that big of a deal. So whenever I did turn 21, I didn't freaking like get shit faced and blackout drunk every fucking night because I was legal, because I grew up with that exposure to alcohol already, like a sip of champagne here or a sip of wine here. um uh my first shot ever was at the age of 7, and it was Bailey's, and it tasted like chocolate milk to me. So like I grew up with like the idea of like it's not that big of a deal. It's like soda, and I can get it occasionally if I want it once I'm legal, you know?
Yeah.
So like, and like my stepdad let me drink like some of his ale. Ugh, it was disgusting. Never again. I almost threw up that day. I was 16 too. So like it's people are going to raise their kids differently, and in different cultures things are different. But with Agnes, I couldn't, there was only that one part whenever she was crying for her mom to sleep in the bed and she was ignored. That was like the only part that was really bad in my eyes. Like the oh no, she's okay. Like it could be that they actually do know their kid well enough to speak for her in that situation. But that's just me as a parent myself. Like that's just me. Like cuz I speak for my son too sometimes, like, and it's not like to interrupt him. Like it's sometimes they don't, have proper way with words yet, that they can't really voice how exactly they're feeling. So you explained it in a way that other people would understand how the kid is feeling. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I
So
think
like,
so. It's just
yeah.
when it came to speaking on behalf of someone else, that kind of struck a chord with me because they'd be like, I'd like to communicate this thing, but then someone else does it for me and they get the message wrong. Like, that's not what I wanted to say.
Oh yeah, true. I can see that side too.
And with Abel, it was pretty much like he literally could not say what he needed to say. This being, my actual parents were killed. Please save me. Like he couldn't communicate that no matter how he already tried. And I was like, couldn't he write it down? But I think he was too young to know how to write, so he couldn't communicate that way. It was just like, we just removed your only form of communication, at least for the sake of this film. So
Yeah.
It is 10 o'clock. Why are there children outside?
It is 9:41 as we're recording this.
my goodness, I'm getting sidetracked a little bit. It was seeing child abuse and how it's portrayed, and it seems like, oh, this seems normal until it gets extreme. I was like, okay, maybe that's not normal. And then there's the debate of, is this how one should raise their kids, or are they taking it too far? But let's move on to, oh god, what the heck else was I going to say? How it's all foreshadowed, like that scene in the very beginning, like, hey, is this seat taken? Oh, no, no, no. And it's like, but Agnes's stuff was on it, and Bjorn moved it. He could have just been like, no, my daughter's using that. And then maybe Patrick would have been like, oh, okay. Or if Patrick was being
I'm
more aggressive, he could have been like, just move the stuff out. Like, oh, that's fine. No one's sitting there. And then at that point, he'd be like, stand up and be like, no, my daughter's using that. Don't touch her stuff, sir.
no knowing how Patrick is as a character though, like he'd be like, well, no one's sitting here. There's just people's stuff here. You could move it.
Like I just said.
Yeah. Yeah. Like that would be more of his reaction. But Bjorn would be like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess you're right, and then move it.
You know, sir, you raised some very good points. Please
Yeah,
take my
that's a
daughter's
good.
things.
Just you could just touch my daughter's shit. That's fine.
But it also shows, like, the biggest theme is politeness and how it can be a little easy for people to take advantage of that. Like, pretty much Patrick and Karen are bullies. Like, I don't know how else to describe them. Maybe monsters, but at the very least, bullies. And then like you're being told to be nice and kind. Politeness doesn't cost a thing. And I'm like, it doesn't cost a thing if you've already got pretty good
But
things
your
going on in your
life.
life. Yes. Like, you're privileged enough to where your politeness can be free. For the rest of us, it requires mental energy. I can't be kind all the time. And if I extend politeness and I sense someone is just taking way too much advantage of it, then it's like, oh, I don't think you're looking out for me at all. I'm just gonna go. Bye. But yeah, we already did discuss a lot of little things that happen, such as the restaurant scene. Like, hey, you're gonna pay for this, right? Well, I thought you. Thank you so much. You're a real lifesaver for paying for this meal. All these little things, and Louise is the only one that really speaks up about some of these things, and she's more assertive about it. Where Bjorn is a lot more passive. It's like, no, it's not that big a deal. It's probably fine. I might have been in
Yeah.
the wrong anyway. Like, almost to the point of self-deprecation. I don't know if that actually happened, but I've been freaking guilty of that. Like, no, it's fine. I didn't actually want to eat anything for lunch. In fact, it's probably my fault for being hungry in the first place. Like, that's that's not healthy.
No, that's not.
I don't
I
really
mean,
do that so much anymore. It's just like,
it's like, please don't do that.
Don't do it.
it's my fault for being hungry and having a digestive system and physiological needs.
It's like, dang my body for needing energy. And the
Yeah.
only way of getting that is through food.
Mm-mm.
It's like, how dare me be a living being?
Yeah. But I could also see how people would be like, so in order to avoid being taken advantage of, I should not be polite and be a dickhead. I'm like, when it's necessary.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like there's a borderline of like how polite you can be. You know, like being civil and treating somebody with common human decency. Yes. But once like you should realize where your boundaries lie on how you want to be treated and acknowledge those boundaries. So when someone crosses them, don't just back off and be like, oh, okay, well, I guess this is okay. No, speak up. They crossed the boundary. They crossed the line that you made for yourself and voice it. I promise you, your mental health will be so much better for it. So much better. And
Yeah.
if people get mad because you voiced your boundaries, then they don't really care about you.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe they're getting a little sensitive, but still, you gotta
No,
say.
they shouldn't even think that you're sensitive. They would be like, "Oh, I've obviously made them upset. I should back off." Because them thinking, "Oh, they're just being sensitive," that's them not caring for you. They don't care about your well-being as a person. They don't care about your boundaries that you voiced. I just learned this last year with therapy.
Yay.
Therapy works.
Yay.
So,
Yeah.
voicing a little bit of my therapist's wise words.
So I suppose if we wanted to give like a Cliff Notes version of this, like don't let people walk over you, but don't be completely selfish either.
Exactly.
As for the final thing, during the credits there is a painting. I did not know who made it. I just knew it was a depiction of like a cherub looking child wrestling with a bird. And I looked around like my journey was literally like classical paintings, and it was like top 30 Western paintings you should know about, and then it was under a section called Renaissance paintings, and they mentioned the Dutch painter Rembrandt. Now, this particular painting isn't by Rembrandt. Like this one looks inspired by something he made. It is called The Abduction of Ganymede. And
Wait, what?
and yeah, like the
What's it
painting
called? What's it called?
The Abduction of Ganymede. It sometimes has a different name, but well, we don't really use the hard R term that
Yeah.
much. But anyway, Zio, you would. It's a story about Zeus being like,
Yeah.
that's a gorgeous looking child. I'm gonna take them into heaven and make them serve me wine. And then Zeus just freaking takes them. And the history
Oh.
about this story is it's highly romanticized and kind of homoerotic. Just Zeus being like, I love this boy. Come with me to the palace of the gods and serve wine for me. And it's like, wow, he ascended to godhood. Meanwhile, Rembrandt's like, the gods just took this kid. And in that particular painting, this kid looks like he does not want to be with that bird, with that eagle.
That kid looks so angry.
Yes. So, and considering what happened in the ending of the movie, it fits. It's just like, hey, Ganymede got taken away from their real family in their real lives.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. But anyway, that is all the symbolism and stuff I can think about in regards to this movie. You can probably look around online for other people who would be like, yeah, this movie's about how being too polite can quite literally get you killed because people take advantage of your kindness without
Mm-hmm.
paying anything in turn. So
Mm-hmm.
what's next?
So I read, because I read up on a little bit of it, like, oh, well, what was the message of this? Like what other people was. And one that stuck out to me the most was like, don't trust people that you don't have like a full background check on.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Like especially going to their fucking house out in the middle of nowhere just because you don't want to hurt their feelings.
Mhm.
And I'm all like, yeah, that's what I got too.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, fuck these fucking feelings, bro, and fuck your kid too.
Fuck these people.
Like fuck you and your ugly ass kid. Like I'm out. No, he wasn't ugly, but I was quoting something. I was quoting Kevin Hart. I was quoting Kevin Hart. But
Fuck
like,
these kids.
no, fuck these damn kids. I'm here to get my check, and then I'll be out. But I mean, yeah, that's what I got. I was like, don't fucking trust people that you don't fully know. Zio, I need to get a background check on you.
Wow. Well, vice versa.
Some of those cost money.
Y'all could be
Other parts are free.
psychopaths for all I know.
It's like,
Y'all
why
could
do
be
you think I'm in
psychos?
therapy?
Oh, well, shit. We got a psycho among us.
You got me feeling like a psycho. Okay.
Jesus Christ.
I'm just kidding. But yeah, no. He's like, I don't know you that well enough yet. I need a background check before you get back in my car, motherfucker. No, I was playing. It's like, bitch, you bought me dice. Like, you good. You bought me food.
It'd be like, you got me dice. Are they laced?
Oh, they laced. You bought me food that I saw you, that like I drove to get. That I drove for you to get. You paid for it and I took it from the window. Is it laced?
Did you get in cahoots with these people?
It's like, did you call McDonald's beforehand? It's like, how do you know this Cane's chicken doesn't have poison in it?
Right. Right. You right.
I turned off my notification, so he's not saying you right anymore. I was like, Mark, you've been agreeing with me a lot today. I'm going to turn you off. You right. God damn it. Rating? What are we rating? What's the rating system?
Tongueless children.
No! How did I know the tongue was going to go? And I was like,
It's so visceral. I'm like, okay, what else
in my
can I
head,
pin this off of?
in my head, I was just like, "Oh God, he's gonna say tongues." Like
He's
2
gonna
out
say
of
tongues.
2 out of 5 tongues, and I'll be like, "No,
Matt
make it
Sherman,
stop."
if not me, Matt Sherman would probably say it.
I know. That's what I was like. God, one of these motherfuckers is gonna say tongues. I already know.
So what
As
would
soon
be
as I ask,
I guess a nicer rating system?
stones.
Oh.
Oh no, that's even worse.
How is that
Not the stones.
So cutting out. So a child's tongue is better than the fucking stones.
Neither one are good choices, but I guess the
Suitcases,
stones.
pictures. What do you want?
Stones
Villas in Italy, like
Fucking bunnies that the damn girl kept
the bunnies.
losing.
Oh my god.
The fucking bunny.
Stuffed bunnies.
No, we'll do stones. Stones is a lot better than tongueless children.
I'm like,
Jesus
I'm
stones
not-
Christ.
I'm
don't
not
hurt
laughing
people.
at that. I'm
People
laughing
with
at the
stones.
situation.
I'm laughing at the situation.
I'm not
This is
laughing at
this
the
is a
tongueless
nervous-
children.
this-
I'm laughing at
This is a nervous laugh.
it.
God.
Just like when I'm under pressure, I laugh. Okay, like
Jesus, who's going fucking first?
I don't know. I have 2 different rating systems today, so
Enlighten us, then. We'll start with you, housekeeper.
okay. So in terms of how the movie was executed, and like I know, like, as much as like you want to hope for a good ending, like it's just not possible.
Yeah,
It fit within the storyline. It fit within like the message that they were trying to send. The filming of it was really good. This, like, I will give all of that 5 out of 5. You know, I did not
Yeah.
like this movie. I did not enjoy this movie. It's not one that I will go back and watch. There have been movies that have been fucking horribly made, Velocipaster, and I will happily watch that movie over and over again because I enjoyed it. I loved it. This is a fantastically made movie, and I hated it because of how it made me feel. And that's and they did what they set out to do, and I congratulate them for it. They deserve nothing but good things in their life. For like, I am not hating on them whatsoever. This, like, I hate it 100% out of love. Like, this was a greatly educated, like, not educated,
Oh God.
greatly executed movie. Fantastically done. And I give
Right.
so much kudos for it. I'll never watch it again.
What would you
So,
rate this movie?
so for the 2 ratings, uh, 5 out of 5 stones for execution and everything
Uh-huh.
on the technical front. Enjoyability, uh, 0. 0 out of 5 stones.
You can't give us 0. That implies you didn't watch it.
Huh?
Like, the 0 rating to me implies that you didn't even watch it.
I did watch it.
I know.
I watched it minus 2 seconds or 30 seconds, however long that freaking tongue cutting scene was, because I refuse to watch a child's tongue get cut out.
Okay. What was it? What's an average of a 5 and a 0?
I'm just gonna it'll be a 2.5. That's right in the middle. And it's not, like I said, it's not me hating on how the film was made. Everything was well done. Like the sound, the music choice and everything. Like, they let you know throughout the whole movie, like, something sinister is happening right now. Like, it doesn't look like it. It looks like everything's innocent, but something sinister is afoot.
There's buffoonery afoot. Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, like, everything was done immaculately, in my opinion. They had some few bold choices with the cinematography, and the timeline with, like, jumping back and forth, because I did get confused for a second. Like, wait a minute, weren't they just in Italy? Where are they now? What is this house? Oh, they're back home. When did they get back home? But then I was like, you know what? It doesn't matter. Like, you don't need to know all that information. They showed you the information that needed to be shown, and it was good, and I fucking loved it. Hated the movie. Hated it.
Right.
So 2.5.
Bunya, your go.
All right, so to echo the same things Housekeeper said, great sound design, great cinematography, just everything was done so well. So I'd give it 5 stones out of 5 on both fronts. Because I did enjoy what I was looking for. I wasn't like, oh, this is so fun. I was like, I'm not sure what's happening. I'm scared. And I want to be scared. Because that's why I'm watching a horror movie. Like, either scare me or make me laugh. And, well, it's like Frankenhooker makes me laugh. This makes me afraid of humans more than I already am.
Give me your fucking money. Give me the money.
I don't have to give you any money.
Who the fuck are you? You ain't one of my hoes.
The point is, I really enjoyed what this movie offered. And I did have to think about it a lot after I was done. Which usually most movies I'm like, okay, I watched it and, well, I guess that was okay. Which is why I give it like 5 out of 5 in my personal opinion.
Oh yeah, this movie's probably gonna stick with me forever.
Like, will I watch it again in the future? Yeah, but let me see if the year is better. Like, let's see how 2023 turns out, and then I'm like, do I want to, like, ruin the end of my year? Oh yeah, I'll watch it again. I'll go and feel terrified. I'll go and feel angry and all that.
I will say this: I'm extremely happy that the first horror movie that I've seen in 2023 has actually made me scared.
Yes.
Like, this is true fear. That's why I cried. That is the emotion. Is just utter fear. And fucking props, bro, because it's very hard to get me scared from a movie, because, like, I know it's fake. I'm like, it's made up.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
this one, true and utter fear. I give it 100 out of 5 for that. You fucking got me scared.
I'm totally fine if it's like, oh, this is a great movie. I don't like it. I'm like, that's kind of the point, to scare you and make you not like it.
Exactly.
So,
They did
I'm
exactly
fine.
what they did exactly what they set out to do, man.
So we got a 2.5 and a 5 out of 5.
Mhm.
I heard about this movie from my lovely, lovely boyfriend.
Oh, so
it's
I
all-
get to blame him for this.
Oh yeah, and then because this movie's been on my list for quite some time when it finally hit Shudder, and I'm actually really glad that Mad Chairman, who is unfortunately not here today, chose this movie as his pick, because I was like, oh, now I have an excuse to watch this movie.
Well, what the heck is my pick? I forgot.
You chose a video game.
Oh, that's right, I did. I chose a
And,
video game.
any whoosies. I went into this movie going, oh, okay, cool. This is going to be good. I have high hopes. I've heard pretty good things about it. So I went in watching it and I'm like, cool. And then it turned into, oh, this is suspicious. And then it just kept getting worse and worse and worse for them. And I'm like, oh, this has got to let up. This has got to get better for them, right? No, it doesn't.
When does a horror movie ever get better for the
Some
protagonist?
horror movies have good endings, but this one really went off the deep end on the dread. This is not horror. This is dread. Like, at the end wasn't necessarily scary. It was just dread. Like, there's no hope. Like, this one, this movie made me feel a certain type of way that I can't even explain. I felt so wrong after, especially with the ending when everything was brought to light. And the only thing I can compare it to, like I said, was The Strangers, because The Strangers is one movie that I can't watch by myself and in my apartment by myself or in a place by myself. I just can't. I love the movie, but I can't do it. I had to have somebody else with me.
To be fair, the location of where your apartment is not the best part.
No, don't. I gotta sleep, bitch.
Bitch, I live right down the street from you. How the fuck do you think I feel, motherfucker? And I have a door in my room that leads outside.
Ew.
Exactly.
Yeah, no.
So shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that's why I have not watched Strangers since living in my current situation. But as far as the movie, as like everyone here has said, this movie set out to have a goal, and it did its goal. It did its goal really fucking well, almost too well.
Be like, have you done this? Is this like, is this a confession?
Confession?
Or they have really bad anxiety, where it's like they imagine the scenario and then I'm like, that'd make a really good movie.
God,
I've freaking done that.
Me?
I haven't made anything, but
Me,
I have a
that's me.
scenario that I imagine. I'm like, this could be a game. This could be a book. This could be a movie. This could be anything.
That's what this movie triggered, my anxiety. Oh my God.
Well, yes, we are all head cases here.
Oh,
We all need therapy.
This anxiety may be chronic, but this ass is iconic.
Oh no.
As far as a rating for this movie, it was a very good movie, very well made. The story was like, not many movies can grab a person like this one does, or this one has for me, as well as my co-hosts in different ways. But I'm going to rate this movie a 4 rocks out of 5 because it's very good. This is the first time I'm ever saying this on the podcast. This is a movie I'm never going to watch again. I will never watch this movie again unless somebody, oh my God, how fucked up would that be? I'm like, I'm never going to watch this movie again. And then one of my friends like, oh my God, let's watch this movie. And I'm like, no, they're like, come on, you can watch it. and then manipulate me into watching it. Oh, that's fucked.
Oh, how the turns have tabled.
Oh, that's fucked. Okay, let me restate that. I will not watch this movie on my own volition. I won't. I don't like the way this movie makes me feel. I don't like it. Just feels all gross and icky and just like ugh. I just don't. I can't. Like this film about two serial killers literally doing absolutely nothing as far as violence till the very end, and they get away with it and they keep doing it, and you're just like, what is lesson of the day? Learn how to say no and fuck politeness. Like, if something's weird, don't fucking go with your gut. Don't be like, oh, nothing's wrong.
Like, we don't want to hurt their feelings.
Fuck their feelings. Fuck politeness. As the ladies from how to oh god, what's that podcast called? Shit, I'm a terrible podcast fan. My favorite murder. As the ladies of the hosts of My Favorite Murder would say, fuck politeness. Because half the time, like Housekeeper said, this stuff happens in real life where people are manipulated and they don't want to be rude, and then shit like something like this happens to people. That's where that catchphrase "fuck politeness" comes from, because they do true crime cases like serial killers and murders and shit. This happens more than you think, more than you probably like to admit, dear listener. Fuck politeness. If something seems off, display your dismay and get the fuck out of there.
You know but like some people just can't read the vibes though.
True. Some people can't read the vibes.
Some people can't read the vibes. Like there's a lot of TikToks that I have seen where it's just like, oh, when you meet that person that everybody loves and like it feels like you, like it just feels off for you. Like other people are loving, there's a person in my life who is like that. Like, and they're a very close friend to a very close friend of mine. Their vibes feel off to me. And I will be civil towards them, but I keep my distance from this person. Like, I'm just like, I was like, yeah, you want to go out? Like, go out to the club? Sister, you ain't taking me to no second location. Like, no way. Like,
we're going somewhere and you're driving? I think the fuck not.
Yeah, I'd be like, no. It's like, I'm gonna stay home. Thanks. Appreciate it though. Like, I'm glad that you thought of me and you invited me, but the answer is hard pass. But like, again, like I'm still gonna treat them with decent human decency. Like, I'm not gonna treat them like some fucking monster just because they can make my tummy feel weird. Like, I'm still be like, oh, you're a person, you deserve human decency. I'm not going to treat you ugly because you make me feel weird, Yeah.
Until
you do something that pushes me to that limit of, then I'll treat you differently. But until then, I'm going to treat you with the respect that I would like to get,
Period.
But again, some people can't feel those vibes.
True. So what is the total consensus? What is the
3.
What is the vibe? The vibe of this movie, the 3.8.
Right.
It's not a good vibe. I mean, it's a good vibe.
It's not a good vibe.
Okay.
It was a greatly executed executed vibe, but it's a bad vibe.
So, should you watch this movie at the end of the day? Yes, you should. Because if you like horror or if you like psychological horror, this movie is fan-fucking-tastic. Again, I compare this to The Strangers, but but you feel differently than just like fearful that someone's going to break into your house or someone's already in your house. It has a different vibe, but that's the thing I can compare it to. So
I think it's because there's children involved.
No, it's not necessarily. I mean, that's part of it, but
ow.
I think most of it is just the way that is people don't want to be rude. People don't want to be polite because we all are raised in a society, regardless if you're in Europe or United States or if you're over in Asia or
Africa,
South Africa,
South America,
South America, Africa. Every like group of people have like a that you have to be polite. Decorum. There you go. That's what I'm looking for. Decorum. Granted, different groups of people have different decorum, but at the end of the day, the consistency is don't be rude, don't be disrespectful, don't be.
There's unwritten social rules.
Yes, exactly. And this movie really takes those. Oh, you have those social rules? Let me just take them and fuck you with them. Just fucking stab you with them like a butcher knife. Like
the social contract.
Exactly. Sets it on fire, nuke it, and you're just like, and you're gonna sit there, and you're gonna fucking watch it because you want to watch a movie. And honestly, watching the movie is kind of an illustration of that. You're like, you're gonna watch a horror movie, sit your fucking ass down and watch this fucking horror movie.
Oh God, we did exactly what they did.
Exactly.
In the movie.
That's
we did.
Up.
We willingly let this movie fuck us up.
The director, fuck you.
You manipulated us.
This movie is a good illustration that we literally sat down to watch this damn movie, and we're like, "Why did they do this?" And he's like, "Oh, because you let us."
Oh no, the meme. No.
Movie.
It's the meme. It's the meme. The one of the guy who fucking like shoots the other one, and it's just like, why would they do this?
Exactly.
like it's literally like, so it's literally like us shooting ourselves, and then be like, why would the director do this? Oh God, I gotta get that meme. That's gonna be on the Twitter.
Wait, you mean Eric Andre and shooting his assistant?
Yes.
Oh
That's
my
the one.
God,
Eric Andre meme. Not to let me in. I found it.
This director really said, you're going to sit down and watch this whole goddamn movie. And we're like, oh, why did they do this? Why did we watch this movie? Because you let us. Fuck you. You know what? I didn't sign up for this. I feel manipulated.
How dare you?
I feel manipulated. Sir, director, I hope you get the best out of life. I hope you get good movies coming up. I hope you get good contracts and shit. But like, fuck you, bro. Like, damn. This movie really did that. And we just had that realization on recording. Wow. I fucking hate it here. I fucking hate it here. Oh my God. Is anyone else mind fucked? Because I am.
Hold on. I'm trying to fucking save this picture so that I can edit it.
And you know what we're doing right now? They made a movie. Oh, you're gonna go talk about. We're gonna go talk about it. We're talking about it. God, motherfucking. God damn it. I can't.
Perhaps we should end the episode so
yeah,
it doesn't get worse.
We're gonna end this fucking episode. I'm so done. Thank you guys for listening to today's episode. Catch us next time as we talk about another movie. Bro, fuck this. I'm done. Goodbye. Good night. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
God, I feel so fucking manipulated. Jesus Christ. Ugh.